Welcome to American Education FM, everybody. I'm Dr. Sean Brooks. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Memorial Day, number one. And number two, in this episode, I have a nice brief conversation with my aunt. And she was a choir director in her town for her church, one of the churches in her town, of course, in North Carolina for approximately 21 years. And her experience regarding the whole COVID pandemic and the psychological operation is an interesting one. And I'm certain, too, that many individuals have had very similar experiences and basically seen the mass formation psychosis that existed among many church members, just willfully going along with the mainstream narrative. And it's really disturbing. But she has quite a story to tell, remarkably interesting perspective. And she was the outlier. She was one of the outliers in her church. Wouldn't wear the mask, didn't wear the mask, told all the people why she couldn't, and didn't take the shots either, and didn't fall for that pressure either. And that's a big, big deal. It's a life-saving decision right there. So go ahead and give this conversation a listen, ladies and gentlemen, and I will catch you on Wednesday.
Before 2020, give me a ballpark number as to the attendance. How many people were typically within your congregation, including the individuals, of course, who work there?
Okay, I would say probably 200 per Sunday. Like all churches, it's getting down some.
Okay.
Yeah.
But before all of this?
Before all of this, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
200, 250 actually. Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there was one pastor there at the beginning of all of this, and then he left sometime throughout, and then another guy showed up. Is that right?
Yes, the new guy came in 2021.
Okay.
In the middle of the year. That's when, yeah.
Take everybody just kind of through the weekly activities, I guess, within your church. So clearly you would have a service on Monday, but say like on a Sunday, but
Right.
Say like on a Monday, what would be?
We had 3 services on Sunday.
Okay.
We had youth on Sunday night. We have the church is active every night of the week.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Really?
Meetings, choir practice. We met on Thursday nights. And other than Friday, which is kind of a slow day, Saturday, not much, but yeah.
Okay.
And then, we were very busy.
All right.
Yeah.
So all this then started to happen March of
Yes.
2020?
Yes.
And you were talking about sort of the communications back and forth. I'm sure, because I've also, of course, seen you behind your computer communicating with these people too. So I have to assume that there were emails being sent back and forth and questions, not just text messages, but other
Absolutely.
things. Okay.
Absolutely. Phone calls, emails, what's going on and what's going to happen. And I'd gotten an email from my pastor on the 12th of March. I had to write down some notes and
Sure.
everything's fuzzy. But the pastor sent an email to 7 of us asking our opinions, as he'd heard that some churches were closing. And I just want to do a sidebar here in the fact that this pastor, I truly love this guy. And this is the man who kept us going from September 13th of 2018 when Hurricane Florence took out our church.
There you go.
Over the next almost 2 years, he oversaw the slow rebuilding of the church, from mold, remediation, all that, to seeing the church down to the bare stud walls. We were a mere 4 to 6 weeks away from getting back into the new church, I should say, when COVID hit. And through that renovation time, we met for 3 services in a small building in the back of the lot. So I just want to let you know this was a man who was going to keep the church going regardless.
Yeah. Even though you closed. I mean, even though everything closed and...
Yeah,
okay.
Had to.
Had to. What about the other churches in the area?
No, other churches were not doing a thing. They were not doing a thing.
Okay, they were all closed.
All closed. There was no service for a couple of weeks, and then our pastor recorded services through the April 12th service. And he was going to try to do a service from the parking lot, but he couldn't get the sound to work because everybody could be in their cars, etc. But we got together, or they got together for a while to do a service on Saturday, just recorded it so he could do the sermon. basically, and then the pianist was asked to do a little bit of background music, whatever, for just that much of a service. And then a few weeks later, I was brought in to sing a solo with that, and that went on for a while, just for a little while doing the Saturday service.
Okay.
Okay.
And the attendance at that point was
Not
what?
allowed.
Oh, no
We
one.
were strictly recording the service on a Saturday to be able to put out to the congregation.
Via YouTube, email?
Basically the church service, the church server.
Okay.
You know,
They
going
had
out to-
their
yes.
own website.
We have our own website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And by March 30th, we went to one service on Sunday for 10 people with reservations.
Yikes.
They were masking, distanced, skipping each pew. I was singing with no mask, but now because we had people there and would actually see me without a mask, I was hanging out in a storage room on the other side of the front wall of the church.
Now, was this because again, I know that you weren't wearing the mask, and you made it abundantly clear that you weren't going to.
Mhm.
When you mentioned that to them, were they the ones who said, "Well, then you need to be on the other side of the screen"?
Yes.
Or okay,
Yeah. It just said it would be best if, you're not out here without one when everybody else is having to wear one, or fearful being near me. Oh,
yeah.
you don't want to do that.
So I mean, it was evident that they were taking all of this hook, line, and sinker.
yes, as were most. As were most.
Yeah, certainly the churches seem to be, which I found to be very, very interesting. And
Mhm.
even again with you showing up, not wearing the mask, saying I'm not doing this, I'm fine, look at me, I'm okay.
Mhm.
They're like, well,
Yeah.
you're kryptonite.
Yeah. Oh,
essentially.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When you came back eventually, what was, and like you said, you were recording this for X amount of months throughout 2020.
Yes, by mid-July, we started reservations for 25 at one service, and with the same rules. And then we got back again.
What was the social distancing like when your whole group came back? And did the whole group come back, or was it evident that there were absences, that there were people?
Oh, there were definitely absences.
Okay.
Let me see. Just trying to get my ducks in a row here.
I recall you saying something like you had to line up, and then they'd let you in a little at a time, and then.
Well, we later opened it to two services at 8:30 and 11. I sang solo every week until we got to May
Right.
of the following year. Yes, of 2021. Okay.
No kidding.
Yeah. I was solo, and then they actually got to two services, but I was singing the same solo for 8:30 and 11 o'clock services. But people were masking, and I was still going behind the wall. And at one point, sadly, at one point, they were saying, you can wear a mask if you want to. By the end of this time, they were saying you can wear a mask if you want to, but you have to have been vaccinated.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. So this ostracized me again.
Sure.
Because one person from the church at the back said, "Okay, can I come out and sit in front again?" And the pastor said, "Nope, she's not vaccinated."
So it was pretty evident then that the pastor and everybody was encouraging the jabs.
Just saying, yeah, and it's basically your choice, but if you want to come in with us, etc., then get the vaccination.
Wow.
Yeah, it was encouraged. Yeah.
No kidding. I mean, they're jumping from one, sinking leap, sinking lily pad to the next with that, playing that game also, of course. You don't have to wear the mask if you're
jabbed. Yeah, basically.
What was the social distancing like within the building? Because again, I've been in the building, so
indeed.
Yeah.
Well, we were finally in this beautiful church, and once we got to the two services, now here's the funny part, because when we'd only had the one service, then we didn't do any special hygiene, cleaning of the church, etc., because supposedly at the time that was the idea, that COVID germs can't last very long, so you don't have to mess with it.
Scrub everything down.
Exactly. So we weren't messing with all that, because, we just leave it there. Once we got into two services, though, between 8:30 and 11, we were going ahead and using a special stuff, but this is all brand new furniture in the church, and it just broke my heart. We're having to scrub something down on the wood, and then we're spraying rubbing alcohol on all of the surfaces. Not enough to get the people wet at 11 o'clock, but just to go ahead and
Did the Clorox become the holy
no,
water?
no. But we
Wow.
certainly, we were not giving, we weren't giving communion, as you mentioned that. Speaking of holy water, we weren't giving communion like that per se, but at one point during some time in all those cloudy dates, we were serving communion out in the parking lot that they could drive by and get. There's actually a to-go package of communion implements, and so they did that, and they were still using that when we would have communion in the service. They would, here, you can pick one up on the way out, or you can come get one, but we weren't doing it in the service.
Interesting.
Yeah, so trying to keep everybody safe.
Yeah. Families were allowed to sit with their own families.
With
of
their own
course, and-
families.
Okay. But there was, I mean, did you have like physical dividers in the
Well, we
pews or
skipped
anything
every
like
other
that?
row. Still, believe me, when you say we're welcoming people back,
Mhm.
people were still very hesitant. They were not going, woohoo, I get to go back to church. So it was a very slow climb
Right.
getting people back. And we did skip every other row. We made sure that this side went out that door, this went out that door, and people were distancing, but it was just that people, if you recall, we were out of it for well over a year. We're into a year and a half.
Yeah.
People like to hug. People have to see each other, and unfortunately, it was stop that, stop,
Yeah.
But
Don't have feelings.
exactly, and that was the part that got me the most. You just you want to hug people
Yeah.
and say it's good to see you.
Yeah.
That was hard.
I know who we're talking about, of
My
course,
guy.
but yeah. Did he give his sermons wearing a mask?
He did at first, but then realized, enough of us, myself included, complained, I can't understand what you're saying, especially when I'm behind the wall.
Right.
I can't understand what you're saying. So he said to the congregation, look, I'm well past this far from all of you being up up at the pulpit. And he said, so that you can understand what I'm saying, I will not be wearing a mask. So yeah, that's how I
Okay.
go with that.
And when approximately was his exit?
Oh, it was the end of June in 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
After you were all back fully
Yeah.
and okay. But
Do
you
you
were
wanna-
still distancing and all this.
Yes, pretty much.
Okay.
And yes, because I can explain that I hadn't had choir all this time. I was still doing all the solos morning, 8:30 and 11. And I said, I want to get the choir back
Mhm.
because it's time. He wanted to get the choir back. It also happened that he was going to be retiring at the end of June. And so in May, I contacted all my people in my choir, and I said that, okay, I want to get the choir back together, but here's the thing: we're not going to wear a mask. If you have a problem with this, I'm sorry, and we'll see you when all this is over. But for right now, we're going to do it without masks because I've seen people try to sing with them. You also can't breathe with them, and especially a singing mask, as it were, because you could get this. Well, it makes you look like Donald Duck, for one, and
Right.
it's even thicker, and you can't breathe through it that well. So I said, we're not going to do that because then people also won't be able to understand us, and what's the point if they're not getting the words of what we're saying?
Mhm.
That's what we're trying to do anyway.
Did they opt? Did some of them opt? How many of them took you up on that? First of all?
Probably 10 out of 17 at that time.
Okay. Did they opt for the clear face mask? The clear visor thing?
The visor thing. I know we only had a couple people in the church that were doing that because they actually were thinking the whole thing was really stupid anyway. I know that for a fact.
Okay.
But yeah, she came in with the visor, and other people were complaining, she's not wearing a mask. And
Yeah.
they said, yeah, leave her alone. And and somebody suggested that I could do the visor, and I'm going, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So, but there was an issue come Palm Sunday of 2021, and this is, whenever that falls, like into April. I would know. I had notes, but I can't find the Palm Sunday of 2022. There were one or two people that were feeling punky. One
Mhm.
said, I know it's bronchitis, but I'm not coming in. Another one said, well, I think I'm catching a cold or something. I'm running a fever.
This post jab.
And she has other issues. I mean, the one gal has other issues. So thought, okay, well, that's fine. And and we went ahead and did Palm Sunday service, and by Monday night, the emails and text messages and phone calls were off the charts with 14 out of 23 people were feeling bad. It was a mass, do we have COVID? What do we have? Actually, I was one of those, but I took my ivermectin, when I really realized something was going on.
Mhm.
And, it was less than less than a mild cold, quite frankly. But because of that, not very easy to say the entire choir is out, or what other people may have contracted whatever this is. And so we did not have Maundy Thursday service, and we still thought it was a good idea with enough people that were out that we didn't sing on Easter service, but they had a first time Easter service without music. So because the piano player was one of them too. So that was interesting.
Yeah. And this is 2021, so
Yeah.
the people getting sick, potentially jabbed already.
Yeah, I think I and one other person, I know for a fact we're not jabbed, but I think everyone else was.
Okay.
I feel sure.
Let me ask you that question then.
Yeah.
By the time that you ultimately left, I'm not going all the way to the end quite yet, but I'm just asking this generally. What percentage do you think of your entire congregation took the jabs? Ballpark it.
85.
85%?
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Openly talking about it, bragging about it?
At times, yeah. I had somebody call and they were very upset with me that I was not going to get the jab. But you need to because you're not going to make it. And I have a,
Jesus.
and we love you and we want you to hang around, blah, blah, blah. And I go, well, I'm glad you think that way, but no.
Funny story.
Yeah. Funny story. I know another side to this, and it's not very pretty.
No.
All the facts on that were not coming out quite yet, but I mean, it was obviously not needed.
Right.
And things were going awry. And then when people started getting boosters, then they'd brag, whew, I got my booster today. I guess, oh man. And I just felt so bad.
Yeah.
I tried talking to a few going, don't do it. Yeah. Even a relative of mine, I couldn't change her mind.
There's a conversation I have with myself on a constant basis. I was even having it today before y'all got back.
Mm-hmm.
And I Walter Mitty going to city council and talking to them during the public comments section. And one of the lines that I have in my head, I won't do this because there's no point. They're watching everything crumble in front of them based on their own decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say something like, you can't say you're not, don't tell me you're not brainwashed. Because for the first time in your entire life, you were afraid to breathe oxygen. But you weren't afraid to inject yourself multiple times in a short period of time with something that you can't name a single ingredient.
Indeed.
That doesn't scare you, but air scares you.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't tell me you're not brainwashed, because only a brainwashed person would do that. And then, of course, only a brainwashed person would lead themselves to believe that that was a good idea and then do the same with everybody around them without even stopping, excuse me, and questioning everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so don't say you're not brainwashed because, that's what a brainwashed person would say.
Yeah.
And I know that would floor them for a minute, but I mean, that's a constant meme that I've seen. So it's,
yeah,
you were afraid to do this, but this, no problem.
Yeah. I know there's no understanding for it.
No. I've got a few things just to kind of wrap up, but if you've got more stuff that you want to share regarding the back and forth, were there arguments taking place during any of this time online? Again, you said that people were contacting you and saying that you'd wish that, that they wish that you would have taken the shots because they were, they caring about your well-being and thought you'd bite the bullet if you didn't. But were there
there wasn't really that much. I wasn't confronted that much that why aren't you getting it? This person I've known for many years. But no, and yet it was the bragging that they came in and they got the shot.
Right.
And I just found it very unfortunate. Yeah.
Was there? I mentioned this earlier. Was there inter-church communication? Was
Oh,
your pastor communicating with other churches and saying, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And
well, at the beginning, but like I said, this is a man, he was going to keep church going. It came down from I'll call it this person, the Grand Poobah, or it could
Mhm.
be a bishop or whatever but this person was over our area. And this person had said that we advise you not to have services. And this pastor that I love so dearly, because I do, he said, well, they only advised me. They didn't tell me no, so I'm going to have them.
There you go. Good.
And he wanted to get in. He was bound and determined to keep it going.
Yeah.
And he was the only one for the longest time that had church services.
Wow.
Yeah. And then others were going, well, we got in. Hey, we were in just a few weeks after. We started a few weeks afterwards. So
Yeah.
that was kind of cool.
He ended up getting jabbed though, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He and his wife were on the experimental before COVID even came out. He and his wife had done experimental shots that they were on a test program.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes. And then and then especially the more I learned about it, the more I'm going, are you sure you want to do this? Because, one of them could be getting a placebo or not. You just don't know.
He participated in the trials?
Yes. And then they went back for a booster trial. And I'm sorry, Pastor.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. But
So did
they were confirming that that's what they were doing. And I don't think that was necessarily widely spread. Probably
so
is
this
now.
would have been the summer of 2020.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when the boosters came out, then yes, they were going for the boosters. Are you sure? Are you feeling bad? Anything? And not a good idea. And he said, well, yeah. 'Cause they're kind of in for a penny, in for a pound, and whatever. You're on the
Yeah.
trial. But they said, but we feel fine. She wasn't feeling so well after the first or second time. And I pray for them every day.
Yeah. So the real boosters then came out, of course, in the fall of 2021. So they lined up for those too then.
They were part of the program. It doesn't stop just because things move on.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I hated hearing that. I really did.
Yeah, because I've read some of those documents that were court ordered to be released by Pfizer, and they did. And I mean, we're talking thousands of documents.
Mm.
But in one of these documents I was reading, it was showing those trials that were taking place in the summer and early fall of 2020, and it would show the list of participants, their sex, their age, any other health problems that they had, and then the schedule for which they were receiving their shots. And then every now and again, sort of like in a conclusion box at the end, it would say, contacted subject in order to have them return and tell us what's going on could not be reached.
Oh.
And I'm going, uh-oh.
So either something happened to them or said, wait a minute, okay,
Yeah.
I'm done with this.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like you said, that was part of it. That's what they signed up for, to
Yeah.
take one and then record what was going on with them and then come back. And even if they were coming back with ill effects, they were still getting a second one.
Yeah.
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 Awful.
I know.
What this was funny too. Just I thought about this the other day also. One of the funniest 2020 stories I had was with your son, of course, and my brother when we went golfing with your husband and my dad.
Yeah.
And we got to onto the first green, and I hadn't seen any signs anywhere, nothing. I mean, of course, we weren't wearing masks.
And
There
what year
none
was
of
this?
that. 2020.
Really?
Yeah. But we got to the first. Apparently, there were signs on the door. I didn't see them when reading them. The employees were all masked up at the golf course. We walk up. Again, we're getting ready to putt, and I start to walk toward the flagstick, and I start to pick it up. And your son and my brother both yelled at me, and they were like, dude. And I went, what? What? And they were like, you got to leave it in. COVID. And I went, what are you talking about? And they were like, you didn't see the signs on the door? I said, don't take the sticks out, because people were afraid that, whatever. I got so mad. So mad. I said, you've got to be kidding me. You guys are buying this? I said, and they were like, no, it's not us. They
wanted to play golf regardless.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah. And in fact, if memory serves, they may have had a small flag at the base of the flag that said leave pin in something
Yeah.
like that.
Well, that's what the pros were doing at that time too.
Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't know any of this. And
Yeah.
that's what he goes, it's actually not that bad. He goes, you hit the pin from a distance. He goes, and you just count it like you made it, and then you get in the car and you go. And I was like, all right, fine. And we
Yeah.
played the whole round that way.
Yeah.
And it just blew me away that, again, something like that that people would take that seriously and say to themselves, yes, this is a great idea. We shouldn't be touching, you're riding in the same cart with one another.
Mhm.
But yeah, can't touch a flag stick, can't take it out if you want to make a putt. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Which, again, you're surrounded by golf courses where you live. I'm assuming they did very similar things.
Right. The person riding in the cart with you had to be family of the same household. Remember
Wow.
that? No, you didn't have that here?
No.
And I'm not so sure that wasn't 2021, because I think I came here 2020 all by myself, and then the family came 2021.
Mm.
Unless somebody else came with me, but I know my husband didn't.
Kevin?
He might have come with me. Yeah, just saying.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, as long as the person was in your personal family, in your household, then you could ride with them in the cart.
Wow. You said about 85 were jabbed, 85% of your congregation.
I would say at least, yeah.
Okay. What's the attendance like now?
Still trying to crawl back. I mean, I don't necessarily know that's from COVID. The pastor that came in
Right.
was pretty heavy-handed with I'm not trying to tell you, when everything had calmed down, but then a little something happens, and he says, "But people, it's just common sense.
Oh, okay.
Wear a mask.
There
I'm
you
not
go.
trying to tell you, but just wear a mask." And
Yeah.
no. Don't try to put that back in the box.
Yeah.
Not happening. Toothpaste is out of the tube.
Right. The old common sense line.
Yes.
Come on, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, I have to assume the other churches are in a similar
swing.
situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily know what the other churches are doing, but I know that everybody's back now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if their attendance has come up to full yet or not.
Any acknowledgement any time throughout any of this, in particular toward the end,
Mm-hmm.
when someone said, maybe we were just taken for a ride on this whole thing?
Not a soul. No one.
No one feels like
The other person
No
that-
one who's still there, who's still attending, feels like they were deceived in this entire.
Not that I know of. They certainly
Okay.
haven't told me. Now, the other person that was in the choir that I know has not been jabbed and will not ever.
Right.
We were always talking about, did you hear this today? And blah, blah, blah. But no.
Okay.
Yeah. But when the choir came back, by the time that our pastor retired, then I had, for that day, it was really nice because I had about 23, 24 people came. And of course, by the time I retired then in September of 22, yeah, they had they had about 35 people in the choir for me, to say farewell, which was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And I mean, that's about the biggest we get. People could be listening and, are you kidding? We got 150 people. No, we're a very, relatively small church in a small town.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you lost approximately 3/4 of your congregation, you'd say.
We lost them?
Yeah,
Oh.
like they just didn't return, or
No, I mean, we're back up. We're back up close. We're close to 200 now, I would say.
oh, okay.
Yeah, but I really think it was more than that before. But I still remember, just to show you on the side, to show you where churches have gone. At my first assignment with my first pastor there, which was in 2001, the average attendance was 350, and there were only 2 services. So that's just the way churches are going. Many
Mhm.
churches are. Some are growing, and then something bad happens, and they go, "Oh, wait." But yeah, that was kind of everybody wants to get them back in, but there are other things to do, I guess. So yeah.
And yeah, I would assume that some of the people attending would say to themselves, all of this is rather strange. Maybe we shouldn't go back, because they continue to think that this is dangerous. And
Sure.
yeah.
Another thing is that because the services were put on recording, and then soon we started to stream, which I am not a fan of, because then you can make mistakes. But yeah, that's a thing, because
Mhm.
now if you're not watching it live, you can still watch it later. I could get this done, and I think that's disastrous for a church,
Sure.
because I'm personally doing it myself, is watching it either at that time or later. But because I did it for so long, and I don't want to be back there making it look like I'm looking over the new director's service. And they just got handbells back together because of the hurricane and everything. We were 5 years without handbells, and she brought them back for the last Sunday in March, I believe, which was really nice.
Sure.
It was nice to hear them again. But it'll get back, but people have to get over everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me sort of maybe conclude with this, and if you have anything else you want to add, go for it. If this happens again, okay, one of these mass whatevers you want, pandemics, hoaxes, whatever.
Will it fall?
I mean, yeah.
Yep.
You think so?
I think so.
And you think they'll buy right into it?
Yep. I just do.
Yeah.
But I hope not. I hope enough people have backbone and say, I'm not doing this again.
Right.
And we're not doing this again. We got through it before, we'll get through it again. But yeah, I'd love to think that they're just going to stand up to it and say no. But then again, depends on what the higher ups are saying, or
how those emails roll downhill. And
yes, exactly.
We highly encourage everybody to.
Yes, and how the particular pastor feels about it. And
you know his stance. I mean,
yeah, we know his stance.
Right.
So, yeah, probably not. And then it's trying to come back again.
Yeah. I've said the same thing, of course, on this show about education. I mean, if they close the schools down again because of something like this again, they're finished.
No.
I mean, they're already finished, but yeah.
And then let the homeschools roll.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to American Education FM. Make sure and check out AmericanEducationFM.com for more information. Take care and God bless.